Oh, a lot of question marks.
Ton of question
It's
marks.
Rum's week.
Rum's week, ton of question marks going into this week. We don't know who's our starting quarterback. We don't know if Miles Garrett's playing. It's a lot of question marks that I feel like we're gonna find out on Friday or Saturday, or hopefully there's no game time decisions because that's never a good sign. Um, Kevin did say that Miles is expected to play. I believe that was on Tuesday. So the big question for me is who is our quarterback? DTR has not. He's still in the concussion protocol, so he has not passed it yet. Meaning, and we're running out of days at this point, right? So, and I believe on Tuesday or Wednesday they already came out and said Joe Flacco is now the backup. So if DTR is not ready to go, Joe Flacco will be our quarterback starting on Saturday or on Sunday. I'm sorry. Um, you know, I'm gonna go into talking about it just as Joe Flacco is our guy at this moment. I, uh, that's how I feel like it's gonna turn out, and I don't love the idea of a rookie quarterback coming back from a concussion protocol, hasn't practiced all week, going into a Rams team that's actually playing pretty decent in the last little while.
Well, I definitely agree with you. I think it's a no-brainer at this point. And you basically answered your own question mark there of who's playing quarterback for the Browns on Sunday.
I'd hope so. I'd hope so, but you literally never know with this team. It's I
Uh,
mean it is
I mean, you're not wrong there. I just think the smart move would just be to go with Joe Flacco.
for
You
sure.
gave him a week and a half to prepare for, you know, just playing ball with the Browns, learning the offense, getting out there, and you kind of had a game plan going into the week that you may be without DTR, so you're gonna have a different game plan. But like you said, DTR has not practiced all week. He hasn't cleared concussion protocol yet. He hasn't, so it's
Which
kind of
typically, I'll say it's typically if it's past Thursday, it's not a good sign that
yeah,
you're going to pass protocol. For example, like Marquise Goodwin is finally back after 3 weeks in concussion protocol. 3 weeks. He's
yeah.
back
So
playing this week, and I think he's still questionable. But you know, after that hit, you'd imagine that DTR is definitely not ready to go at this point. And I said anything past Thursday is I'd rather think that it will be Joe Flacco. So, you know, uh we'll see. Um
so what do we know? What do
I
we
would
know about what this Joe Flacco offense will look like?
you know what I would love just to see so I can cry on Sunday is that if they just kept Deshaun Watson's offense out there and we have quarterback keepers like quarterback read options with Joe Flacco would be hilarious. Um,
I
but in all seriousness, I'd see a Joe Flacco offense being very similar to what Jacoby Brissett ran, very similar to what Baker Mayfield ran. It's gonna be that if I was a betting man.
yeah, a lot of under center, a lot of play action. We're probably going to see a lot of the running of the ball. Um,
I freaking hope so. Didn't see it last week,
yeah.
but
Um, but like ideally, what you see out of Joe Flacco is someone that you can kind of spread the offense out and toss the ball around the park.
sure.
Um, you know, the last time we got a good example of what he has left in the tank, we blew a 20 or 14-point lead within 2 minutes. So
Yeah.
that just goes to show you that you cannot, you know, tread lightly on Joe Flacco, I guess, at this
Yeah.
stage in his career.
And he
Um,
doesn't look terrible from what I've seen at practice. He doesn't look horrible. And I don't know. Like I haven't seen like anything amazing, but nothing that's been like be like, wow, that looks really bad. And
Well,
yeah,
I mean, it's going to be a big difference. Practice shape is a lot different than game shape. And
absolutely.
as quoted, he went from just being a dad on the couch to now just being, you know, starting a NFL football game 2 weeks later. So
Yes.
that's going to be a big jump there. This isn't a guy that just got off, uh, you know, just got cut. He's been off the whole majority of the season, and he's playing
Yes.
in week 13. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a slower game, but I am just curious of how well this offense is going to go when they're more conservative, which
Hmm.
I'm completely fine with them being conservative. Um, I think we're going to see a lot of similar things that they ran with PJ Walker. Um, but I think Flacco would probably be more capable in that offense.
Yeah, I think you'd make a lot less mistakes. I think that's the main problem with PJ. I mean, PJ led us to being the most turnover prone team in the entire NFL the weeks that he started. And I think getting away from that is extremely smart, even though obviously we won, two of those games. But at, when you're looking at it, you don't want to have a guy down the stretch like PJ Walker. So you're kind of going nowhere. And having a guy like Flacco that's been experienced and won't really make those dumb decisions goes a long way, especially if your defense is playing as good as they have been all year. I'd rather rely on a defense, on a conservative offense. Uh, I think you have a better shot at that than you would with PJ.
Yeah. And it just adds to the list of injuries. Looking at this offense with
Stacking up, yeah.
Amari just coming back to practice today. Not really doing much during practice, just running routes. Um, so we might see a little more depth of the receiving core. Um, it's just been it's just been a long year with these injuries. Like
Yeah,
it'll be amazing if they find their way into the playoffs here, for what
I
they've
think
had
they
to
have
deal with.
been.
Yeah, I think they got a run in them. I feel a lot better with DTR under center. Um, than Flacco going forward, because he lets you to do a little more. But as far as this week against the Rams have been pretty good against the pass. Um, but middle of the road against the run. So the Browns probably should stick to the run game this week. Work that play action, find your tight ends, and go take care of business.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. The Rams secondary has been playing really well, which going into the year I didn't think would be after they got rid of Jalen Ramsey. But yeah, I think the only thing that you mentioned there was that I feel like the defensive line has been giving up a lot of explosive plays on the ground on this Rams team. So yeah, that the defense is consistently inconsistent and inconsistently consistent. So we've seen a lot of great things from that Rams defense if you watch and film on them, but at the same time you've seen some things that you're like, wow, I can't believe they did that. So we'll see how that goes. But also on the offensive side, this is, I mean, Matt Stafford's arguably coming off of his best game of the entire year with 4 touchdowns on the day, and they look good. Cooper Cup, I believe, is still questionable. Um, so
Yeah, him and Puka Nakua combined for I believe 10 catches for 75 yards this past
it's
week against
weird.
the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's the run game getting back young guy Kieran Williams.
Yes.
He came out off the IR this past week and got 2 touchdowns against the Cardinals. So he's been a big time fantasy player this year. I know from my own experience because he's on my squad. Um, but he's been a real sleeper for this Rams offense, and they've missed him a lot for the time he was gone.
Yeah, and
Uh,
they picked up Darren Henderson, but they also just cut Darren Henderson, so he's no longer on the Rams team.
yeah,
So
so this is another thing the Browns have to do this week. They have to stop the run. We've been towards the bottom of in efficiency in stopping the run. The last couple of weeks, they've just been getting torn apart on the ground.
I believe
Um,
average of 4.2 yards a carry, which
right.
is not good. It's not good.
The the Denver Broncos were ranked 32nd in the run game, and they went for almost 200 yards on the ground.
Man,
Um,
stopping P Ryan was like
yeah, Samaje P.
almost impossible. Literally
Yeah,
almost impossible.
he was
So
over 100 yards. They stopped
crazy.
Javante Williams pretty well, but this is a better team in the LA Rams that um, a little more size on the offensive line. They're better on the defensive side of the ball, and you're going into SoFi. Hasn't made its reputation as a tough place to play, but I mean it can be. It's a West Coast trip, and it's
Lost
always
last
tough on
year.
the East Coast team. Yeah, especially in this time of year.
Yeah, so yeah, I think them being out in LA, training at UCLA this week has been beneficial being out on West Coast time. You know, that 3 hour time difference, I will say, makes a huge difference. It creeps up on you. Like, I'd rather be, 6 hours ahead than three, and I'd rather have three more than one. So it gets really weird when you're out there, just for a few days, because I always feel like when you're there for like 2 to 3 days, you crash on that fourth day. It's been relatively consistent in my travel experience.
Well,
So
the good thing is this that they've been out there the whole entire week.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they'd be out there for almost a full 2 weeks. So, or yeah, a week and a half. So it's going to be very beneficial to them in my eyes to be out there and to adjust. Now, different story when they come back to the East Coast, what that will do, but that's a conversation for another week. But what's some keys to the game that you see going to
Well,
this game?
I think we got two of them pretty well. Is to get to run the ball and to stop the run. Um, but I think finally this last one, it's going to come down to turnovers. Um, it bit us
See
in the
that?
butt last game, and it seems to have been the theme for us this year. Is when we don't turn the ball over, we can win the game. Um, but it just seems whatever game we turn the ball over, more than twice a game, we end up with an L. Um, so I think it starts there is win the turnover battle. Take care of the football and get turnovers. Don't give it over. But I think that's a good way to end up our Royal Donuts keys to the game or keys of the week, whatever. I
Keys
forget
of the
what it
game.
is now.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's very much continue to run the ball. Don't give up on the run is number one for me. Two, stop the run and really be locked down on the receivers. And that's going to be huge. If you can really limit Matt Stafford, I think that's going to be massive to this game. So after he's coming off of a huge game last week, don't let them continue to roll. We've been very good against our receivers this year. Not great against our tight ends statistically, but we've been good against receivers. So keep that up. And really, like you mentioned, I said we need turnovers. Like I need to see an interception. I feel like I haven't seen an interception since that uh, Lamar Jackson pick. Like I don't know, right? I mean, I think that's the last one. Well, we need more
Yeah.
interceptions. We need more breakout plays to really make that turnover differential change. Those three are huge. And if I'm just going to throw a person out there to really really do well this game is our whole entire quarterback room because I have no freaking idea. Whoever's in there needs to step up and win us this game. This is a game that I feel like is after last week's loss, I feel like we need a game, a bounce back game. We need some consistency at that quarterback position. So whoever is playing is getting this cowtail because they need to eat this thing to get bulked up and ready to go, man. Like we need consistency. We need to throw the ball, run the ball. We need a game manager at the highest level because this defense is playing great. This offense is great. It just needs someone to control it. And so whoever is in that position this week, man, just hang in there and really just be the guy that we need.
All right. Well, I think another cocktail goes to Kevin Stefanski here. Um, just to keep going with this streak of good game calling games, play calling games. Um, I think he's been pretty good, not perfect, but pretty good. Being able to adjust, which has been pretty nice, I think. Um, I think he just needs to keep it going. We're at that point in the season where it's not really, um, we can't really make a lot of excuses. We know what our excuses are. We've been playing with our arm, hand time behind our back. Um,
Yeah.
it's time to just keep it going. Um, all I really got to say, man.
So last cowtail for the day, in my opinion, and I think we need to see actual production and a lot less mistakes from this man. It needs to be David Njoku. David Njoku needs a game that
Jeez.
really steps up, and especially when we have a little bit inconsistencies at the quarterback position, we need him to step up and have some of those maybe short yard plays, middle of the field catches that he gains some massive yak yards. That it's needed this week, man. And the last 2 weeks he's been so inconsistent and so many drop problems. I want him to come out this week and not only catch every ball that's thrown to him, but also help us win this game. So that's the last cowtail. Um, Rolling into the Michael Lewis real estate games of the week. Who are you feeling is a game that is going to be awesome this week?
Oh, well, I've been watching the wild card race. I think the easy layup would be Niners and Eagles, but I'm going to stay away from that. It's an AFC picture because it's getting tight. You got the Denver Broncos who've been on a 5-game winning streak,
Really
as we
nice.
saw them cap their 5th win over the Browns. Um, Climb up from the grave, starting the season off 1-6, basically getting ready to blow it up against another sleeper team to start the season, and the Houston Texans, and probably the rookie of the year, and CJ Stroud.
No doubt.
Probably,
Man.
most likely.
In
Um,
my opinion, it's not even a question.
yeah, it's not a question. These two teams are trying to find their way into the wild card spot. You got teams in the wild card spot right now that are slipping out of grace, like the Browns, um, and that's a sad truth. And then you have the Steelers who have a shaky road ahead of them. And I believe the Texans are actually in now. Well, we'll keep going on. Um, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a very tough game. You got two teams that are very hot, um, playing for basically their season at this point. It's all about tiebreakers at this point in the season. And this is a point in the season where you don't want to look back and say, man, I wish we had that game because that would make the difference if we got in or not.
Hmm.
It happens every year.
Every year.
So both teams are going to be looking at a chance to move forward in the playoff spot.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to bite right into it, man. I cannot wait to see this 49ers Eagles game. I think it's going to be a great freaking game. Both teams are red hot. Eagles in the entire season, and the Niners are really turning it on since they've struggled since they've played us. They dropped obviously three in a row, and now they're climbing back. They have everyone healthy again, and they looked awesome last week. And I'm really excited to see what they can do against this Eagles team. As really, in my opinion, might be like the NFC Conference Championship game right here. In my
Point.
opinion, this is it because Niners for the last few years I've said that they're going to be in the Super Bowl, and then in the Eagles, obviously, I mean, you go back 2 years ago, they were like kind of average, but like they've made the most amazing drafts and trades I've seen the last few years, and Jalen Hurts has really turned it up, and obviously went to the Super Bowl last year, and I could see them easily returning back this year. So it's going to be a very interesting game, and I'm super excited to see it. Um, with that being said, how are you feeling about predictions for this game against the Rams? Um, Obviously, like we said, there's a lot of question marks, a lot of inconsistencies that we can see on both sides of the ball for the Browns, but also, kind of some question marks for the Rams as well. But um, the Browns have, I think, their hands full, and they need to play the best ball I think they've played all year to win this game. I'm gonna just go with a prediction here. I'm gonna go just because I'm gonna go Browns winning 23-21 Browns. I think the extra week in on the West Coast is going to really do benefits for them. And I think don't quote me on this, but I think Joe Flacco will have a good game and actually win us this game. If he plays, if
Well,
he plays, if he plays, if he plays.
the sad thing is, I don't have to quote you. You're on record of saying that. That's the worst part.
I'll edit
Um,
it out if I'm wrong. I'm kidding. I'm
no,
kidding.
um, I I have a hard time believing we're going to win this one. Um, we're coming off a tough loss. We lost our young quarterback. It just seems like momentum is starting to slip out of our hands, and we're
Sure.
getting the dog days of the season where um, two losses in a row can really put you out of the picture, and that's what I'm getting worried about. The Browns have had an uphill battle, but it's like, how much more can they deal with? They've been doing it all year. You know, when they beat Pittsburgh, it was like, oh my gosh, we did that without Deshaun.
Yeah.
Now we go into Denver. It's like, all right, we got a rookie quarterback now. We just beat the Steelers. Okay, we can go beat Denver. That was a trap game. You lost that one, and you were without Denzel Ward. Now you might be without Miles Garrett. So it just the odds are stacking up against the Browns, and it's just how much it seems like they're playing more against like more than against their opponent while they're playing against their injuries and their flaws. It's starting to catch up with them. And I just have a hard time believing that they're going to go into LA and beat a Rams team that's still fighting for their playoff berth. Um, they're trying to squeeze in too. So, like I said, this is the point in the season where you need to pull games off like this and you need to win to solidify yourself as a playoff team. But that being said, I'm going to go Rams 20, Browns 10.
Damn. I mean, I can definitely see that happening. I think with such shakiness, with injuries, I mean, obviously the quarterback roller coaster we've been on all year. Consistency is hard to find, and you've seen it in the schedule with our wins and losses. There's games that we should have lost, and there's games that we should have won, and that really comes down to the carousel and the roller coaster of just like I don't know what's happening, but I'm here for the ride. Um, I agree. This is a game that we can win and be like, "Wow, that was pretty awesome." Or we can also look at it like, "Yeah, I could totally like when we're down by 20 and we're like, yeah, I saw that coming." I'm on both sides of the fence here, and I really hope I'm on the winning side. But you never
I
freaking
really
know.
hope I'm on the losing side. Like, I guess that's the toxic Browns fan in me that I have to like convince myself that we're gonna lose. That way, it's even better when we
It's
win.
yes, and then you're like, oh, look at that. I'm in a great mood on Sunday. um, it's crazy. Yeah. But with that being said, thanks for watching, guys. Till Monday, I will talk to you guys about the game review, what we thought, how we did. We'll find out. Hopefully, we did well. But go Browns, subscribe, like, and see you guys later.
Go Browns!